Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Fratello Talks. I'm your host Nacho, and today I'm joined by
Daan
and
Thomas.
And we're going to be putting together a list of our picks for the best watches under 5K. Available today. We're not doing anything pre-owned for this list. Did you not get the already? I heard a noise to my right, and
20 seconds.
I thought, no, but it should be.
I think it's going to be okay. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That's very reassuring. Of course, before we get into the picks, let's get into wrist check. Thomas.
Well, I'm actually wearing my obvious pick, which I can't pick because it would be a bit,
it's a bit on the nose,
self-indulgent on the nose. So I won't pick it, but it is my pick.
It's worth a mention. I think it's handy that you're wearing it. I mean, you're always wearing it.
I'm always wearing
it. But in this case, it is. It fits into our. It was formerly disqualified in our picks under 2.5K.
Yeah,
but it would be certainly a great choice. I think it was more.
Wouldn't be fair.
There was no competition.
It was also slightly over in terms of price point. I think so. That was mainly the grounds for the disqualification. I think.
But we'll disqualify it again. It's my VPC Type 37 HW for those not watching with images.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously that would be my pick, but it's not. So
yeah. But still, an honorable mention right off the top is the one. I mean, this will be published a week from now. But is the one Dove Gray remaining one sold already, or is this still just the one left?
No, there's the one left. But if I go by the rhythm that it takes, probably by the time this airs, it will be gone. So the Dove Gray will then be sold out, which I think it's. Yeah, I mean it's not a positive thing, but it's a big milestone for the brand to sort of sell out the first
sold out model.
So
nice. Nice. Got to leverage that FOMO. Perfect. Nice. So, Dan, what about you? What is on your wrist?
Yes,
something under 5K?
Wearing,
not quite.
Well, yeah, it's not bad on the pre-owned market, actually. I think you can get close.
Really? Okay.
It's the Breguet 5907.
Mm-hmm.
So 34.5 millimeters, white gold case, gold dial, which is silvered, and then beautiful guilloche and brushing. Yeah, I can look
they around
at this,
5K.
Well, I think on my Chrono 24 thingy it says 7.5K.
Okay.
But I always feel a Chrono 24 is a bit.
Well, it takes the average price, right?
Yeah.
So it's always a bit over.
Maybe. Yeah. So it could be.
It's really good value, actually.
Could be less, but
that's insane.
Yeah. No, I love it. Yeah.
Beautiful, and it's freshly serviced, right?
It is, yes.
Super clean, super new.
It looks shiny and fresh. Yes.
Yeah. And what's the strap?
It's the Molkin strap with a little buckle. Yeah.
Lovely, good stuff. And I'm wearing my spoilers for what's to come. My Tudor Pelagos FXD USN, so the black version. I'm wearing it on an NDC strap, which is an elastic strap. This is a black one. Normally, it's the green one with the yellow stripe, made of new old stock elastic from French Navy. Parachute bags, if I understood it correctly. But this is
boxer short.
It was not. It's not from the no. Although that could be an idea, hit up all the surplus stores and just cut those up. No, but this is and this is a black version with a black buckle. But I think it matches the FXD rather nicely. So
it does. Yeah,
that's my pick for the day. Cool. Shall we start with our picks for best watches available? I guess available at retail today, under 5K.
Yeah,
cool. Daan, you kick us off.
I kick it off. I think I've already mentioned this in this podcast once or in another category, but I would like to mention the Holtenrich signature ornament again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think under 5K, it's one of the most original watch designs and also craftsmanship pieces that you can get for the money.
Yeah.
It's there's
how much is that?
It's 37.50 euros, and you get a highly customized case with the very flowy lugs, curvy lugs, and that really remind you of the fenders of a car, of an older car, and I really like the design and the vision behind it.
Yeah.
doing something completely different. And I think there's a Celita movement inside, which is also highly customized.
Yeah, the rotor, right?
Rotor is customized, and also the finishing on the bridges and the movement is a lot more than what you get usually. So for I think 3750, that's a really
solid pick.
Special watch to get.
Yeah.
Really nice. I think it's cool when brands like Holt Hinrichs, where normally the watches, like the proper high end stuff that they do is really out of reach for most of us, at least. That they do something like this that sort of gives people a taste of what the brand does without necessarily being as exclusive as some of the other pieces.
Yeah.
Some might say that maybe takes away from it, but I think at their level, at their for a brand like Holt Hinrichs, I think it's great to be able to kind of allow people to step into the brand without having to necessarily jump into the deep end.
Yeah, it's really nice. They are kind of like watch enthusiasts themselves as well, so they know exactly how the people out there feel about their watches, maybe, and they want to give people with a little less money than people that are able to maybe afford watches that are 40, 50K.
Yeah.
Also a little bit of the Holt Hinrichs design. So
I think the good thing there is that it's still a real Holt Hinrichs.
Yeah.
Yes. That's it.
That was maybe some of the beef I personally had with the Gröne as the sort of lower priced version for Grönefeld, that it felt so disconnected from the brand in almost every respect. That's not the case with the Holt Hinrichs, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah. I think there you could almost, like, just to play devil's advocate, you could almost say, well, it's a different brand on the dial, so it kind of allows a little bit of room there. But I do agree. I was trying to think of other examples of brands that have done this, and I think the most obvious and probably the most popular one is MB&F. With the MAD project that they've done, and now obviously it took a different form recently. So it's I think that it's cool when brands do that and allow people to have a taste without having to set the credit card on fire, basically. So that's
it's not as hand finished as the higher end pieces, but more machining, but still kind of the charm that you get from the
all the spirit of the brand is still there.
So
cool.
That was my
solid first pick. Thomas, what about you? What's your first pick here?
My first pick is a Tudor.
Oh. All right.
Again, as always, we didn't coordinate our lists, so we
a little bit.
have a little bit. We may have some overlap here and there.
Yeah.
In any case, I kind of tried to envision what you would pick, and then do something else.
Right.
So
I think it was pretty obvious.
Exactly. So I would have picked that as well, probably. But so I went for the Black Bay 54.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Which
the new
the Lagoon Blue?
No, definitely not that. The original black one. And it's a weird one for me because I do suffer from vintage fatigue, and I do still feel that my criticism of it stands, that you might get bored of it quite quickly because it is so vintage inspired that it might not please you as much and as long as a real vintage watch or a contemporary watch would. But still, I think it's really, really well done. And I spent some time with it and I really enjoyed it. And it's just a very attractive watch. It's really handsome. I like the size. It's not too small. Even I don't have particularly small wrists anymore. And a different topic there. But it still looks good, and I don't know. It's an attractive one, and it costs 41.20 in euros.
Oh, okay.
Now.
Okay.
I thought it was a little bit more expensive.
Me too.
It's quite well clear of the 5K mark, and
How much is the 41? The Black Bay, black dial, black bezel, the Metas version.
I don't
bracelet.
know, to be honest, but
does that go
should
over
be
5?
under 5?
It should be under,
still, right?
That's the thing. I think like seeing Tudor at this price point, or at this within this price segment, it should be no surprise because it's basically as close as you get to 5K. In some cases now going a little bit over, but like as close as you get for 5K, but getting a really solid watch. So I think it should come as no surprise that Tudor is featured here, and I think the Black Bay 54 is a great choice. I mean, nice and slim. It's
it's the build
really
is great. I mean,
Hey, you also get a rubber strap with it, right? for that price. I think that's
with
also
the
nice.
NSYNC thing. I'm not too fond of. I think it looks a bit too modern on such a vintage watch.
I'd put it on a tropic it's a nice deal.
Sooner, but
it's a nice
all things considered, with
is.
how much OEM straps usually will set you back.
Exactly,
it's a decent thing to consider. I was going to say, have you seen the Black Bay 54 mod? There was one floating around where somebody took they took, I think, the seconds hand and a few other elements of it and modified it just so that it would be even more faithful to the original. And they really did an amazing job. We'll put a picture up on the screen, but it's a really interesting, really
to the original
thing.
Rolex or the original?
No, to the
Tudor?
original Tudor from the 50s. It's a really nice thing. We'll throw it up on the screen for the viewers, and I'll show you in a bit. Cool. So let's get on to my first pick. I'm going to go with my the Nomos that I have selected, which is the Club Sport Neomatic World Timer. So that's actually one that came out this year, which...
You just opened your own watch box, didn't you?
Yeah, no, not yet, not yet. I have placed an order for one of those, and it should be on its way. So that's I'm very excited about that. It's should be. I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be my first Nomos, and clearly the brand has done something special with this World Timer. It was sort of praised all across the board when it was released at Watches and Wonders, in both two colorways, standard colorways, as well as the special edition. I don't know how many of them there are. I think something like
there
6.
Was dark blue and gray as standard, and then 6
LEs. With sort of bright colorways. I've gone with one of those. I won't give it away today, but got to keep some mystery, right? But that's the one, and the price tag on that is 3,940 euros, which, all things considered, I mean, you're getting I believe it's 40 millimeter case. Waterproof with a screw-down crown to 100 meters. You get this sort of world timer that's not quite world timer functionality. It's more of like just a second time zone with a city ring. But I have to say the execution is fantastic. The action on the pusher, it's been kind of something that people have talked about before, but it's really a satisfying click. And obviously you have a movement that Nomos are producing in Glashütte, and it's kind of a great one, all things considered.
And the elephant in the room is the 47 millimeter lug to lug.
Yes, but I'm not scared of that.
No, but
true. Really it's shorter.
Good.
It's shorter.
It's really
true.
short.
47 is not scary.
Because I just reviewed or introduced the new Ahoy.
Oh yeah,
and it's 38.5 millimeters, but it has a lug to lug of 49 millimeters. Which makes it more difficult to watch for. Exactly.
That's it.
But on the World Timer, it's very thin as well.
That's it.
It's under 10.
I think it's 11 something, or is it under 10?
I think it's under 10.
Okay. But yeah, either way, for a complicated watch, it really comes in at a great size. And I've always, for me, the Club Sport and Club Campus have always been the most appealing of Nomos's offerings. There was a white-dialed Club Campus that almost got me to pull the trigger. And I have to say, this is the one that's going to be for me. I got it on the bracelet. I don't know how often I'll wear it on the bracelet. It's obviously nice to have it, but I think it's going to be one that goes on a strap.
I really like the textile straps from Nomos as well. They're
Two-piece
really nice.
kind of nylon. Really nice.
Those are really cool.
I recently wrote an article on Fratello, a two-tone watch for people who don't like two-tone. About the
Longines 1925.
And I feel this is the Nomos watch for people who don't necessarily like Nomos, because it's a little bit less Bauhaus. It's a little less sort of surgically clean.
Yeah, it's more.
It's got a little bit more charm and a little bit more play to it.
Especially the limited editions.
Yeah, definitely. They've always been great with color and color combinations, and I think that this is just a prime example, following up on the Tangentes from the year before. I mean, it's really good. So I'm that's going to be my first pick, and I'm very excited to get mine in and finally be able to wear it. Daan, what is your second pick?
Cool. Yeah, my second pick is the Fierce Arnos.
Ooh, nice.
The rectangular stainless steel case with a round dial right in the middle of a hobnail CNC machined hobnail dial.
Yeah.
And I really like it. It's based on their one of their vintage models from the 20s, and and I think this is a really nice execution. It has a Sellita SW1000 automatic movement inside, which I really like for a watch like this, because you would expect a hand wound movement, but because it's a more dressy option, and it looks more vintage, but actually it's automatic, and I really think it's a really nice option for 4,350 pounds.
Okay. Not bad.
I'm glad you picked it, because I forgot it.
Oh,
yeah. I totally
I thought of it yesterday, like, oh yeah, that's the one. And then I forgot to put it in. And I'm glad you did. This is really good. Yeah.
In my mind, it wasn't under 5K, so I didn't even think about it. I had a chance to try it on at Time to Watches earlier this year.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
and it was really it's nice and slim, and it fits the wrist well.
It's got the curved back.
Yeah,
and but for the rest, it has. Yeah, there are a lot of rectangular watches out there, but this one has something special.
Yeah. How did you feel about the straps? Because they had it on two different options. They had it on a leather, and they also had it on a rubber strap.
Yeah, they
with
also
a deploying clasp.
do the D-lugs.
D-lugs, yeah, that's it. Yeah, cut
rubber
to size.
straps.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, well, it looks sophisticated still. A rubber strap on a watch like that is not the common thing to do, I guess. But I would rather put it on a nice leather strap. But I'm not sure about its water resistance actually. But if it's water resistant,
I guess it might be water resistant.
Yeah,
and that's it. So
be,
maybe 10, 30 meters, something like that. Just rainproof. If it's a British brand, it's got to be at least rainproof, right?
Exactly.
I mean, otherwise, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Oh, but that's another really solid pick. That's a great one. And Fears is a
I think
really cool brand.
I think a really cool brand that really sets itself apart from a lot of the maybe smaller brands out there. And
cool, solid pick. Thomas, what's your second?
My second is it kind of triggers the question, like, what is the best watch, in a sense, like what even is a good watch? There's so many things you could go for that could be appealing. Is it the specs? Is it the build? Is it my second pick really isn't great in terms of value for money. It's not great in terms of specs, and the only thing basically it's got going for it is that it's an absolutely iconic model.
Now I know
from a very big brand, and I absolutely love it from a design and aesthetics point of view.
Okay,
it's the Cartier Tank Solar Beat.
Okay.
It's ridiculous because it's priced 3,800 euros now.
That's the solar one, or is that the regular
one? No, that's the solar one.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Which I can't justify in any way, except for the fact that it is a Cartier tank, and I've spent some time with it, and I've come very close to buying one. It was actually a practical reason why I didn't, because at the time they were struggling to get them to market, and I was trying to buy one and couldn't get it done. And then by the time I could, I had moved on to other things, and it kind of it's the one that got away in that sense. But it is a watch that I would own and that I really, really like. But I mean, I can hardly say that it's the best watch under 5K. I mean, it's not great by any objective measure.
Might be the most iconic and most practical, or maybe not even practical. But
no, it's not practical. But but I really like it. I really do. So there it is.
Yeah, I'm a little bit biased as I own my own Cartier tank with the quartz movement, and I have to say, to be honest, other than now it's been stopped for a few months, and I really need to get around to changing that battery. But it's great. It's the kind of watch you put on. Maybe not every day. At least for me, it's never been an everyday watch. But it was always great to have that option of just putting it on. It's always on time. Change the time twice a year, and then it's ready to go for dressier occasions or whenever you feel like maybe doing that juxtaposed dress watch with a sportier look kind of a thing. And I have to say, I would, and this, I don't know if this will be a controversial opinion or not, but when it comes to that offering from Cartier, I would almost always rather go for a quartz model than a mechanical one, just because then it becomes a very easy to wear, a very easy to maintain, and just a lot more affordable, right? So it's almost okay that you don't wear it that often because it's less money that you're putting into it. But it's hard to complain about that at the price point, to be honest. Really good pick.
Well, at the price point, I bought one. I bought my wife one when it wasn't sold at this price yet. It was a bit more. Bit cheaper.
It was always expensive.
It was always expensive for what it is. But she wears it every day, and The sun just charges it. Very easy.
That's it.
Nothing to think about in the next 16 years, I think it is. So that's nice.
That's amazing. Cool. I'm going to go with my second pick, which is, well, it's the one on my wrist. It's the Tudor Pelagos FXD, reference M25717.
What a surprise.
Yeah, never do references for Tudor, but since I wrote it down, I figured let's put it on there. It's 4,390 euros, titanium case, 200 meters of water resistance. For me, one of the best bezel actions at this, I would say probably of all time.
Tudor is very good with bezels. Yeah,
it's good, right? It's nice and crisp, and it has a little trick up its sleeve, which I think
hear on the mic.
People don't. Oh yeah, it usually doesn't work, but let's see.
ASMR.
Otherwise,
I don't know if that'll work. Yeah. So, you'll have either heard that or not. It has a little trick up its sleeve, which I think Tudor hasn't communicated about, and I don't know if a lot of people have realized this. But when you turn the bezel without looking, there's a little bit more resistance at 12 o'clock. So I find that you can very easily reset the bezel without looking. It's almost like it catches when you bring it around to 12. You
like
can almost just turn it, and then there it didn't, but yeah, it's you can almost feel it, and it does kind of catch, so it's an interesting feature. I don't know if it's something that they've engineered or if it's just that there's a grain of sand in there or something. A very well placed.
Very well placed.
No, I think it is on purpose. I haven't confirmed it, but yeah, I think it's a great watch. It's very business first, and I think that it's nice that it's set aside by the fact that it doesn't take a bracelet. You're basically just limited to straps. There's no date. It's very just pure dive watch, really.
And great.
I like it a lot, and I wear it
Me
a
too.
lot. So yeah, that's my second pick.
Cool.
Done.
Yeah,
just with your third pick.
My third pick is the Bulgari. It's now called Aluminium GMT. I think this series of this collection was called Diagono before. It's the aluminium, quirky cases with the rubber bezel and the rubber strap, the articulated strap, which looks like a skeleton almost. But I have RJ's chronograph here, and the chronograph is a bit more expensive. It goes over 5K.
Right.
But the GMT is just over 4K. Mm-hmm. And there's a blue and a black version. And I'd say I'd go for the black because it has a nice Coke colorway and a beige dial. And I quite like it. I think there's a Salida-based movement inside. So same as for the Cartier. I'm not sure if the money really makes sense, but or the price makes sense. But in terms of original design, I still think this is a really nice option. Yeah, and they wear quite nicely actually. Yeah. They which you wouldn't expect when you see it from afar.
Yeah, definitely. It looks a bit bulky, and the strap with the articulation looks a bit like it might not be the most comfortable to wear. But I can confirm, having had at least this one on my wrist before, it's a good watch, and cool. It certainly stands out. Right, it's not something you see every day, but still a very impressive watch. It almost feels like. And I mean this as a compliment, or at least not as a dig against it. It's good when I have to preface it with that. But it feels almost like something Swatch would do. Yeah, it feels like very 90s, very. I feel like Swatch has done aluminium watches before, and this would almost be like one of these Swatch models from the 90s, but true. But obviously then with a little bit more clout and a little bit more luxury too.
Yeah, but you've been actually looking at buying one, right? I mean, I think it's not the first time I heard you talk about it.
No, they're in my watch list. Mm-hmm. But I'm looking more at because the current collection of the aluminium watches for men only comes in a 40 millimeter size, and I like the 38 a little bit better.
This is 38.
This is 40.
This is 40. Okay.
And I like the 38 a little bit better, so I'm looking at pre-owned models. Yeah. But they go for around like 3K if you find a good one, and I'm looking for more of a bargain. So I'm just waiting my time out and see if it works.
Cool. Very nice. And that would be a time only one, right?
That's actually a chronograph.
Chronograph.
So
okay.
I would go for the 38 millimeter chronograph. Yeah.
Cool. So pre-owned, it's also into the under 5K price point.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
We'll allow it. We'll allow a mention of a pre-owned one, but
obviously
the
current
GMT
ones
is
are also the GMTs are also really nice.
How did you guys feel about that collaboration
colorways.
they did with Fender? Not your son, but the guitar brand.
Yeah,
from,
they did a
from
brown
the US.
one, right? That was the chronograph, I think.
It was like a sunburst colored dial.
Yeah.
It was an interesting looking thing. I kind of liked it, but it's a bit much as well. It's like already the design is quite bold, and then to add that on top of it was laying it on thick. But yeah, I mean, obviously Fender's a brand I really like, and so it kind of pulls the heartstrings in a bit of a different way, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you guys.
No comment.
Yeah, I'm not into guitars at all. So maybe
Thomas
you guys,
followed the approach of if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
That's not typical for me, but I did.
No. Okay, perfect. Right.
Personal growth.
He
Man.
held it in.
Personal growth.
Nice. Cool. Perfect. Let's swiftly transition from that.
I think I may have ruined that after all, but anyway.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Cool. So let's go on to your third and
You
final.
called both my first two picks solid picks, and with this one you didn't say anything. So,
It's also a good one.
and Thomas just didn't say anything. So I'll just take the hint and shut up.
No, I told you earlier. Oh, never mind.
Hey,
won't go
I
into
think it's there's a beauty in having a lot of different tastes, right? If we'd have all just picked 3 Tudors, it would be a very boring list.
Exactly.
We still did pick 2, but anyway.
Fanboys.
Thomas, what is your third and final pick?
My third pick, and I do have honorable mentions because I'm torn. But
Yeah, me too.
anyway, I have a third pick that's sort of the polar opposite of the Cartier in why it would be a good watch. And it's the Zin T50, which is basically a titanium, very hardcore, specs heavy dive watch. I'd pick it on a rubber strap. I'm not a huge fan of the bracelet on that. But it costs, I have to cheat a little bit, 3,380 euros. So it's about 400 cheaper than the Cartier tank. And I think it's about 7 times the watch, technically.
Yeah, when you put it that way.
Yeah. But still, that's not what watches are always about. But in this case, I thought I'd feature. It's what I like about it is that it is a hardcore tool watch, but it's relatively thin. I don't have the number at hand, but it's a nice wearing one, and it has this vibe of, oh, hold on, I'm about to go on a dive and weld something 150 meters
it's really nice.
on an oil rig or something. It has that really hardcore kind of vibe to
Definitely,
it. And I really like it.
It's really no nonsense. It's 12.3 millimeters thick, I believe. But it's just, I mean,
They wear really nicely, actually.
Yeah, they wear thinner, I'd say.
Yeah. The case is a little bit smaller than, obviously they had the U50, which is quite a chunky thing, and then they went down to U50 is
the U50 is
I'm
okay.
thinking of the U10, I think, or something like that, or what is it?
Yeah, the UX, I think. Yeah.
UX, yeah, the U models, which are the steel ones, U-Boot-Stahl, and there was a really big version. I think it's U10. I don't know. I'm blanking on my Zins here, but yeah, I think the T50 is amazing. When I got my Seamaster, my 2254, the Zin came out shortly after, and I was almost like, if I had waited a little bit, would I have gone for that? And it really was like it would have been a solid competitor for that spot on the wrist. They both have sword hands. I do like titanium, but like the titanium version of the 2254 less than the Zin, because it has a big titanium in like italic font engraved on the side of the case. Very 90s / early 2000s of Omega to do that.
Blancpain-ish.
Yeah, very Blancpain as well. But I have to say, T50 is great watch. Really great watch.
Right? Yeah, I figured it would get your nod of approval.
Yeah, well, it's also in my honorable mention. So, but
You don't like the H-Link bracelet?
No. No, I don't like the look of it. I'm not a big fan of H-Link bracelets. I don't like the lack of taper. I don't like the way it feels and rattles, and I really don't like the clasp. So there's basically very little about it that I appreciate.
I think it's cool because you can recognize it from afar. Like when you see a Zin, or when you see an H-Link bracelet, it's often a Zin. But what I don't like is the really really big clasp on the rubber strap, actually.
Yeah, but they have different models. They have ones with smaller clasps as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I think it depends on whether it's the dive extension or not, or something like that. But
Okay.
Yeah, otherwise it's like wearing a Grand Taille Reverso on the underside.
Yeah, it's
Bottom
like
side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say, I would go, like, I agree with Daan. I would go for it on the bracelet personally, just because those rubber straps, they're kind of shaped.
Yeah, they
and,
stand
and
out a
quite
little
stiff.
bit.
So I've never found them to really sit that comfortably on my wrist. So a little bit like Doxa's rubber straps, it would just be not something I would go for. I'd go for the bracelet, even though I agree with your critique of it. It is. I mean,
I think an update is overdue. Being so specs heavy and being so built.
That's it.
First sort of minded. I think it's about time they did a really, really solid new bracelet.
Yeah.
Sure.
I get that they stick to the formula because it's like, it just works. It gets the job done. Those things are probably indestructible. But at one point, it is nice to kind of lend a bit of a little bit of ergonomics into
and there's the
so.
psychological side of it as well. It doesn't feel indestructible. It probably is, but it feels quite delicate, I think.
And especially in titanium.
Yeah, and I think... I think it's time for something that feels as indestructible as it is, and
that would
to
be
really
nice.
drive home the point of it being a hardcore watch.
Definitely. Cool. So speaking of Doxa, my third and final pick is the Doxa Sub 250T GMT, which was disqualified also from our previous episode of watches under 2,500 euros by, I believe, just 90 euros. That one. So yeah, it's.
This is your opportunity to.
This is my opportunity to put it in there. It's only 90 euros above the previous price point. So yeah, you have plenty of money left for straps here,
For
which
beers.
is good, and some beers as well. Why not? And I would probably either go for the Sea Rambler or the Caribbean. We had them here, and I think that. I knew I would like the Sea Rambler. That tends to be my...
It's the silver one, right?
The silver one, yeah. Silver dial tends to be my favorite when it comes to Doxa, but I was surprised at how much I really liked the Caribbean, the navy blue.
Blue,
Yeah. Because it just combines really well with the markers. It's got a bit more contrast in the dial, and then in the case of having that sort of skeletonized GMT hand, I think that it lends itself really well to the overall design. And again, on the Beads of Rice bracelet. Would be my choice. So yeah, that's my third and final pick. A little bit of Doxa.
Well, I can jump in there. My honorable mention, one of the two, is also a Doxa, and it's the Sub 300 Carbon.
Oh yes,
it fills out the budget a bit more. It's 41.90.
Okay,
but I love the forged carbon Doxa Sub 300. Morgan, our photographer, our previous photographer, he recently got one.
Yeah.
I think I'd pick the Diving Star, the yellow.
Oh, nice.
Because I think it's a really nice, harsh contrast against the carbon. And that's a really good watch too.
Very cool. Very cool. I love a carbon Doxa. This like sort of very thin case band and everything.
Yeah.
It feels like it's just an amazing watch. And the carbon case is super impressive. Obviously, I think the one Morgan got was the limited edition with the Poseidon or Aqualung logo, Aqualung, and I think that one's just it's so good. It's a carbon dial with a yellow accent. I mean, yeah, we were nerding out about that one while he was still here working for us in the office, and I'm very glad that he got that one. So hope he's enjoying it. Any honorable mentions?
I just did an introduction for the Amida Digitrend Open Sapphire, which is a limited edition of 150 pieces, and it sells for 4,500 euros, if I'm not mistaken. And that's just a crazy piece for under 5K. It's the typical driver's watch where you can look at the time through a prism, which projects the time from two transparent jumping hour discs. It's just cool orange accents.
Big curved sapphire.
Alcantara strap. Perfect watch to impress.
It's really impressive with that
really nice
sapphire case now. I mean, the previous model was a little bit more reminiscent of the Girard-Perregaux casquette.
Yeah.
And now with this sort of sapphire. It's like a bit
This
like
sets it apart.
Yeah, it's the convertible casket, right, or the convertible Digitrend. Really,
Oh,
really
very,
cool.
very cool. And
Nice.
I wanted to mention Christopher Ward, because I think they do the Bel Canto C12 Loco and the 12X, which is the skeletonized 12.
Yeah, in titanium.
In
So,
titanium.
right? Yeah.
And they all, well, the Bel Canto you can get on a bracelet and a strap for under 5K. The other two go slightly over on the bracelet, but they are under on the rubber strap. But I think those are really also very special or impressive pieces for just under 5K or just over 5K.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I thought they deserved a mention here.
Definitely. A well-earned shout out from Christopher Ward. I have two watches that I'd like to shout out. One is a Zin, which is the 144 ST Diapal, which is a little bit, it's one of these kind of Orfina Porsche design chronograph 1-esque watches, so a bit of like a hooded lugs kind of case. This one has a gray dial and some red accents, and it's just it's really like all Zin watches, very no nonsense, and yeah, I really like it. It's one that I featured on some of the list articles we've done in the past, where we've picked watches under 5K. I haven't checked. I guess it's still under 5K today, or it was a limited edition that's also no longer available, so kind of bending the rules here, but it's an honorable mention, so I can get away with it. And the other one is one that I believe you own, Thomas, which is Grand Seiko. Maybe not the exact reference, but it's the SBGW 231.
That is my exact reference.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I think
You
that
still
is,
have it?
I still have it.
You still have it?
Never wear it, but
No,
I still have it.
exactly, yeah.
That's one of my besides the Grand Seiko that RJ was wearing last week. I think that's or the week before, depending when this comes out. No, last week. That is a real sweet spot for Grand Seiko for me, and I think price wise at 4,600 euros, I believe it is today. It's a great watch.
I didn't even think about Grand Seiko because I thought they're all
Me
going to be
neither, and I
over
own it,
5K.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
The black dialed version of that is over 5K already. So
Okay.
this one is kind of like probably your last chance to get
yeah.
a brand new Grand Seiko under 5K if it is even available. I believe it is, but yeah,
Wow.
I love that thing. It's great. We did
It's
a
interesting.
swap back in the day
Oh, yeah.
where you wore my Cartier tank and I wore your Grand
Oh,
Seiko,
yeah.
and I have to say it really warmed me up to a brand that I had otherwise not really spent too much time thinking about.
I have one more honorable mention,
Sure.
which I
A
wanted
little
to
encore.
encore. Yeah, I wanted to do this one last time, but it's 150 over last time's budget. It's 2,650. It's the Lorca number 2,
Oh, yeah.
the chronograph. And I featured the number 1. Yeah, now that I only just noticed. In any case,
Sorry.
I featured the number 1 last time. Okay,
Come on.
but it's a really nice vintage-inspired chronograph, and Jesse, when he was developing it, he came to the office, showed it to us, and we were all very impressed. I remember, because you can just see that it's, which is I think the appealing thing of a micro brand like that. It's a very singular vision, an uncompromising idea, executed by one person with an obsession and a passion, and it results in something that's. I don't know why you're laughing, but
Sounds
Still,
familiar.
Don got in my head, but it does sound like something familiar. Yeah, I mean, it's you got to respect guys who do that, right? I mean, I think you probably lose a lot of sleep over it. And I mean, when he was telling us about what went into getting the bezel just right, that it couldn't be stamped, it had to be injection molded or the other way around or something like that. It was really just he was telling us like how obsessed he was with that, and in the end made it happen, and then you just see that it's unlike anything else, right? Sometimes you take on a challenge and you make something that's not being done by anybody else because no one else wants to kind of jump on it.
And it's a divisive watch. I know not everybody likes it, but I think that's a good thing, because it is very much of a singular vision, and it's not a design by management sort of thing. So shout out to Lorca.
Yes. Perfect. Cool. I think we can wrap it up there.
Comment of the week.
Yes, head on to our comment of the week, whose username is much appreciated because it's very easy to pronounce and read out loud, which I personally appreciate, but it's also kind of relevant to one of the themes that has been running through this podcast. So Heart Over Specs comments, entertaining episode.
Already a fan of this guy or girl.
Talking about the previous week's episode on styling watches or watch styling or something. I don't know. You wear clothes, you wear a watch. It has to make sense at some point. So that's But he says, or she says, entertaining episode. But at the end of the day, just wear whatever you want. And I think that that should be at the end of the day.
That's why we all got bare ankles again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get the comments.
Catch some hate for that again.
It's okay. There were a fair few comments. It was an interesting discussion. I mean, obviously for us, it's not like the biggest thing, but I think that still sometimes there's a little bit of mindfulness when it comes to how you might wear your watches. But
I thought your ankles.
with or without
there's
socks.
mindfulness about the ankles. Yeah, we might have to get out in the sun in a second and make these a little bit more.
Daan doesn't.
But Tan Dan is
Dan.
is the tan man with a plan. Okay, perfect. So let's wrap it up there. Thanks, guys, for your picks under 5K. As always, leave your picks under 5K in the comment section below. Did we miss one of your favorites?
I'm sure we
can
did.
Let us know. We almost certainly did because we didn't go with that many. But as always, join us next week for another episode of Fratello Talks. See you then.